Hello everybody and welcome to the Real Housewives Edit. My name is Elle and I am here to talk about the two loves of my life, editing and housewives. Okay guys, don't yell at me. None of you yelled at me last time, so I'm super happy about that. But I am covering Vanderpump Rules today because this scandal, this Scandoval, is just too much and I'm just having too much fun watching it. I'm loving Jersey as well, but I have to say, you guys, Jersey is tiring a little bit for me. I am going to cover it this week, however. I still love my ladies, I still love my housewives, but there's just something about it. I can't put my finger on it. I would love for you guys to put in the comments below what you feel it is about Jersey. Don't get me wrong, I'm loving this season, I'm loving every episode. There's just something about it, whether it's the, the Teresa Gorga storyline that's just playing out too much. I feel like there's also just not genuine friendships being made or that are there that feel really real. It just feels like, honestly, it feels like the women are kind of trying to contrive drama just a little bit too much for my taste. I love the drama, don't get me wrong, but I really truly love when it's a little bit deeper. Like, I think that's what Vanderpump is kind of bringing out in some of us Bravo fans, is like this relationship, obviously Ariana's been with Tom forever, and then the Raquel thing, Raquel coming in and kind of like, I don't know, like coming out of nowhere with this personality that we didn't really see coming. I just feel like it's a lot of depth to it. I'm not just a commentary channel just on these shows, but I'm much more a commentary channel in terms of storytelling and editing and those types of things, just from my experience in production. And I would say, just from a storytelling standpoint, the characters in Vanderpump Rules just are more layered and have deeper connections and are really, I don't know, I just feel like their storylines are building in a different way than on Jersey. So I would love to hear what you guys think. I would love to hear your feedback on the New Jersey housewives. I'm definitely going to be doing a video on them, but today I wanted to cover the latest episode of Vanderpump Rules. I can't even believe it that we are close to 5,000 subscribers. It's just ridiculous, beyond my wildest dreams. I am so happy and so grateful to all of you who have subscribed, shared with your friends. I mean, it's just been a wild ride. I've almost been doing this channel for 1 year, and as you guys know, I've said it before, when I started this channel, I was like, hopefully just a few people will show up, and so many of you have showed up, and you guys are so supportive, so great in the comments. I've never had seen such a nice group of people in the comments. Like, I get no bad or rude comments. Mainly it's just people being rude about, the people in the shows, but I don't know, it just feels like a very supportive, fun community, and I'm just so grateful for you guys. So if you're here and you're not subscribed, get subscribed, give me a chance. And before I just keep talking your ear off, let's jump right into it.
Welcome to my world.
Well, no, yours was deep. This was like...
But Lala, I'm drawing a lot of comparisons.
No, there are a lot of comparisons.
I just...
Oh my God. We're in the Twilight Zone.
So basically, Katie and Lala and Christina, I don't really remember Christina from the earlier seasons. I think she was on briefly, but they're all sitting in this hotel bed, they're having girl time, and they're kind of talking about Raquel, obviously. And Raquel is kind of doing silly stuff. She's microwaving food right before this. And now as she walks into the room, right, and Lala's covering her face with her hands, like, oh my gosh, she's back. I've definitely felt like this was a very relatable moment, like when you've had sort of a night out and there's always that one friend that, is just acting crazy and you're just like, oh my gosh, like, just leave us alone. I love you, but you're acting crazy. You have to stop and go to bed. I feel like that was a very relatable moment. But as you can see, when Raquel walks in, the music switches up and it sort of has this sort of like...
Oh my God. We're in the Twilight Zone.
Making fun of her, right? It's got a little bit of like a silly tone to it. And that's to kind of bring that silliness into the scene, because we're about to get into some silliness with Raquel.
The Twilight Zone.
Oh my God. You guys, do you want any?
No, baby.
Is that all of our
lunch and
leftovers
dinner.
in one?
Okay, so as soon as she asks, do you want any? And they're like, no, that's disgusting. You hear this knife sharpening sound.
No, baby.
Is that all of our...
It's almost like putting a button on what she's saying and kind of drawing attention to it, like, this is super silly. So what the editors are really doing with the music and with the sound effects is they're just kind of bringing home what the people in the scene are feeling. Sometimes it's so much easier to feel what is happening in a room when you're in the room, right? But us as a viewer watching it from the outside, it's harder to kind of feel energy, feel where people are coming from, feel how awkward it is, feel all of those things, how silly it might feel. So adding music and sound effects can add a little bit of more of that for us as viewers.
In one.
It's all the leftovers in one.
Did you microwave the bread?
Yeah, as long as it's not aluminum, because Katie told me I shouldn't put.
So as they're asking questions, they do like this push in and this long kind of close up of the food, and you hear the girls asking questions underneath as we're seeing this food. As you guys know, that might have just been coverage. Coverage is where they use a shot to kind of cover up audio as they manipulate the audio. My guess is there was probably a lot of talking and they just pulled out the questions from the audio and put it underneath that shot of the close-up on the food.
Because Katie told me I shouldn't put aluminum in the microwave, and then I didn't.
Raquel, did you kiss the guy tonight?
So I thought that was a really interesting moment because I actually feel like the sound effect was off a little bit. And now I rarely disagree with the Bravo editors because I love them, but I feel like right there, you know, she said the thing about the aluminum, right? And then you had the girls laughing, and then you heard that big, and then they cut to Lala. Usually what they would do is show the girls laughing and then cut to Lala or cut to whoever and do that big dun, that big ending kind of button sound. Kind of, that sound is kind of giving like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, right? Like from all of them, like what is she even talking about? Like this is ridiculous. What they did was they had the sound come in and then they cut to Lala, almost like a really awkward cut to Lala, and then it awkwardly cut back to Raquel. So I just wanted to point that out because I had to watch it several times when I was watching this. I was like, that's weird. Like usually they're really right on with the way that they cut the sound effects and the people in the shots. So I just wanted to mention it to you guys because I'm a nerd.
Guy tonight?
Yeah, I did.
Who? Oliver?
Wait, you didn't see?
Oliver?
Yeah.
She was supposed to kiss him.
No, I was not.
I thought.
Okay, so you'll see here too that the music is totally taken out.
Did you kiss the guy tonight?
Yeah, I did.
Who?
They had the sort of silly track when Raquel walks in, but then they totally pull out the music here. And that is because what? They want us to lean in a little bit. They're talking about this Oliver situation, which is obviously going to lead into some more of a bigger type of situation as it continues to unfold. But yeah, they turn the music off because they really want us to feel like, ooh, something important is going on. Imagine this scene, just put it in your head right now, this exact same conversation where they're asking about Oliver with that same sort of silly track over it. It would feel totally different. It would feel like almost like something that we're not really supposed to pay attention to or something that's just being thrown away. But just by turning the music off after that big button they had, that dun, you know, showing Lala awkwardly, it's really supposed to make us sort of lean into what's going on and what's being said.
I thought so too.
Raquel, why are you like this?
Are you serious right now? Like it was Lala's territory and I was not allowed to kiss him?
No,
I just thought it was so strange when they keep cutting back to the girls sitting in the bed and the girls just are continually laughing. And now this might be exactly how it went down, right? Like where the girls are laughing because Raquel is obviously very, you know, what's the word I'm allowed to say? I said overserved, but someone told me that's not cool either. Inebriated, what's the word I can say? She's not sober, right? So they're all laughing at her, but it does seem a little strange, these cutbacks to them where they're all laughing. It seems like they're laughing more at things she's saying, but I'm just wondering if the editors grabbed reaction shots of them laughing at her from other parts in the scene. I don't know what you guys think. I'd love to hear your opinion.
I gave her the okay. I just didn't even know you were interested. We heard you talk a lot about him, so it was like obvious that we were like, oh.
Okay, so, and you'll also hear, remember they pulled the music out when they first started talking about Oliver, but once they started to get into like the back and forth, was it Lala's thing or did Lala give the okay? The music comes back in again.
Okay, I just didn't even know you were interested. We heard you talk a lot about him.
Still a little bit of that silly tone. It's kind of driving the scene forward. The real reason they do this is because I can guarantee you, I don't know for sure, but they're going to pull the music out again because they want another moment coming up to have a little bit more weight to it. If they took the music out for this entire scene, although it would have a little bit of us going like, "Ooh, this is serious, I want to listen to it," it also would lose its potency of having no music. They want to use that just for moments that they really want us to listen. And so during this kind of back and forth, "Oh, did Lala give it to you or give you the permission or whatever," they put the music back in because what's coming up, they want to make it more poignant by taking the music out, and they have to have music to take out.
Yeah, that's
really
like my
excited.
type of guy.
I'm starting to see a pattern in Raquel. It seems that she's only interested in men that her friends are either married to or interested in, and that is a big red flag for me.
Oh my gosh, when I saw this little thing, I was like, did they plan this whole Scandoval? I'm still on the fence about that. Put it in the comments below if you're on the fence as well. I try not to put myself in that position in reality TV at all of feeling like it's all staged, all of it. But there's sometimes a little bit of the conspiracy theory part of me that comes in and I'm like, this has been really good for ratings. But I don't know why Raquel would agree to put herself on the line like that. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm torn. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts.
I will say this. You asked me, I totally punted him to you, said you go for it. I will say, you drinking.
Okay. So I did think that was kind of a funny reaction that they had when she said, you know, I gave him to you basically. And then they cut back to Rachel, not Raquel. Oh, fun fact. In Raquel's first season, she came on it as James's girlfriend. And by the end of it, maybe it was the second season she was on, I was like, this girl is a star. Like, she needs to be on our screen. I don't need to clarify with you guys. I have a few new subscribers. So if you're new to the channel, every time I say I love someone, it's always for the show. If I ever make merch, if I ever get to that level, remember our goal is to try to get 10,000 subscribers this year. I don't know if we're on track for it, but listen, we'll take what we can get. If we get 10,000 subscribers, maybe we'll get some merch in there. One of them, I want to just make a t-shirt that says, "For the show." For the show, you guys. I love Raquel for the show. I think she's a star. I think there's something really magnetic about watching her, even though it's just, there's something about her that's interesting to watch. That's all I will say about that. But okay, my fun fact, okay, after she came on the show, I looked her up. I followed her on Instagram and I looked her up like in more depth, and I found out that her name is Rachel. It's like on her Wikipedia page. Everyone's saying they found it from like a yearbook on TikTok, but your girl found it 5 years ago, like on her Wikipedia page or some article or something like that. I knew that her original name was Rachel, which to me made her even more interesting and more like perfect for reality TV. Anyway, I digress. I'm not trying to take credit for it, but I just want you to know I knew that. The whole Raquel thing made me laugh. Anyway, they cut to Raquel and she makes sort of a face after Lala says this, you know, I basically gave you Oliver, punted him to you, or whatever she says. Raquel's face is I don't know if the editors used that from a different moment or if it really happened here, but her face is saying like, that's ridiculous, which I don't know what you guys thought. I don't think it was ridiculous. I think that, you know, I think Katie was right that Raquel seems to like guys that her friends like. I think it's very competitive. I think she's like one of those competitive girls. I have thoughts about Lala, but I'm going to reserve them for a little bit later in this video.
I would never trust you around my man. Never.
I mean, like...
So, she says the big line, I would never trust you around my man.
Never.
It sounds like the Halloween theme music. Like it sounds like complete horror movie music, right? It comes in so strong. They also make that pause after she says it so long.
Never.
And then it's cut back to Raquel and cut back to Lala and cut back to Raquel. They're really dragging that moment on. And I just bring it up because I want you guys to be aware, a lot of times people talk over each other. You know, if you're in a conversation, watch how many times you'll talk over the person you're talking to. It happens on screen as well. It happens in these reality shows. And that's why everyone honestly is individually mic'd, and they're able to isolate mics and create longer pauses. I can almost guarantee you that what Raquel said right after Lala said that came a little bit quicker than how long it took. Although maybe she took her time in formulating her response, but I will just say, just from an editor's perspective, I've made enough spaces, you know, in performances, or, you know, drawn things out a little bit more for dramatic effect enough times to know that I can guarantee you they're doing it in this show as well.
I mean, like, thank God you don't have a man to like and have around.
What? Oh my God, Raquel.
Okay. So she says the big line back to her, and then they have that giant knife sharpening sound.
And have around.
What? Oh my God, Raquel.
The girls' faces, you know, it's all just like the music stops with a clang. It's so dramatic. And really all of that is to really tell us, the audience, like, this is big. Right? Now imagine if they took all of the sound out of there. I'm always going to make you guys do this, but imagine taking all the sound effects, all the music out of there. Imagine what it would have felt like watching that. We might have been like, ooh, that wasn't right. She shouldn't have said that. But maybe it wouldn't have had quite the same impact on us. I don't know what you guys think. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. But when I first heard her say that, I was just like, oh, that was just like a good burn. Right? Like, you know, you're saying you're a man and I'm saying you don't have a man, which, you know, these reality stars love to talk about how these women have or don't have men. Like, it's like, I don't know, like the biggest thing in the world to have or not have a man. Anyway, she said it and I was just like, oh, that was a burn. Now, to be clear, I'm maybe one of those like a little bit more naive personalities to start. Sometimes it takes me a while to get what someone was actually saying. I don't know why, but I've always been like that. When I heard her say that, and I was like, oh, that was a burn. And then later when they're basically saying that, what she was saying was, if you had one, you know, I would be after him. Basically, that's kind of what they're saying later, right? See, this is why I need you guys in the comments. This is why I always need like friends. I've had the same best friends for like 30 years, and I just need friends sometimes to like translate some things, because maybe I just assume better of people in a weird way. Like when I saw this from Raquel, I'm like, oh, she's drunk, right? She's just saying this thing. It's like a total burn, like, well, you don't have a man type of thing. But okay, so maybe it had deeper implications, but I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. Did it have deeper implications, or was she just being totally silly? Because they really made a mountain out of a molehill with this line, and I want to know, understandably so or not. But I can tell you that the editors had a lot of fun with that moment with sound and music. Let's keep going.
What does that mean?
I'm gonna shut this down, Raquel.
Okay, so you can hear a little bit tail end of that big, really high-pitched sound, but it's very low. You see the girls still have their reactions. You cut back. Raquel does her reaction, which it could have been there, or that reaction could have been grabbed from another scene, who knows? But it was just like, you know, they're really trying to drag this moment out to make it seem really, really important to us.
Raquel's been drinking. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to bed.
Same.
That's it.
Okay.
I want
We'll
a
talk
good rest
in the morning
of the trip.
when I'm sober,
Yeah,
drunk.
I think that's a great idea.
Okay, so again, remember how I told you how they have the music in there so that they can make the moment feel a little bit stronger when they pull the music out again? Here's that moment, right? She said that big dramatic thing to Lala. Everyone's offended. Everyone's like, even Raquel feels bad, right? And then it's just no music whatsoever as they're kind of doing this awkward exchange as she leaves the room.
Okay.
I want
We'll
a
talk
good rest
in the
of the
morning
trip.
when I'm sober, drunk.
Yeah, I think
Good
that's a great
night.
idea.
The no music in this scene is really making it feel even more awkward. It's really giving us an audience a feeling of like, ooh, like just not feeling right. You can tell Raquel feels like bad about what she said and is like, whoa, that maybe that didn't come out right or whatever it is. And so we keep going.
Good night.
Am I tripping?
Okay, so you could hear the music kind of did that scary movie thing again. They have this shot that's a long shot, you know, Raquel is walking away down sort of like a dark hallway. You know, you have the lightness kind of in the foreground, then it's like this dark hallway. And it just feels very like scary movie to me. My beginnings at Sony were all in horror movies, so I learned all of these horror movie tricks, you know, watching the editors work with the sound and the music and contrast and all of that, and I see them employ it all the time on this show and on Housewives. It's almost like they're creating their own horror movie, these little horror movie moments, right? So Raquel walking down the hallway with her back to us, far away from us, while that music kind of comes on, it kind of almost feels like a horror movie, right? Like almost like she's the bad guy or she's just, you know, the babysitter home before the bad guy comes. It's got all of that. It's supposed to sort of put something in us whether we know it or not.
Am I tripping or did she actually, did that just...
I'm feeling that Lala come out, that I don't want to see her. If Raquel were not wasted right now.
Okay, so here's what I will talk about my thoughts about Lala. Now, I didn't plan this, but as I was setting up the camera, I was like, I just have so much to say about Lala. Maybe I will just talk a little bit about her. So I love Lala for the show. I think she is very fun to watch. I like to watch her decisions. I like to watch her bad decisions, good decisions. I think she's great for Vanderpump Rules. She's pretty. I think she's beautiful to look at. There's just something about her that I like on my screen. She's very controversial. She does stuff that's not great. All of that stuff for the show. If I get one comment saying, oh my gosh, Lala has done this, how dare you support her, I'm gonna delete it because I'm not supporting her. I'm completely coming from a production standpoint. No, I won't delete your comment, but you know what I'm saying. It's not, I'm not team anyone. I am team editor nerd here for you guys. Okay, I want to like her so bad. Like this personality where she's kind of saying this thing like, I'm feeling this Lala come out, like I would not trust you around my man. All of those things to me, if she wasn't such a hypocrite, would be so fun to watch. Like she would be the perfect, like, I don't know, there's later on in the episode where Charlie says like, why is Lala speaking for all women? And it's true. It's like, Lala's done so many egregious things. Like, why is she coming? She always speaks like she's the authority, like she's never made a mistake. There's not a lot of humility in the way she says it. I would just love so much if that was her personality and if she hadn't done all the things that she'd done. Like if she was like, maybe if she was like a bad person, like made bad mistakes and stuff, but would never cross the line of like, you know, having relations with someone who's dating someone, right? Which she did with James and Raquel. I would be like, okay, I can like take all of her faults, but this is one thing she will never do, right? She will never cheat. She will never, you know, cross this certain line. And then when she gets so like uppity about those things, I'd be like, yes, like I would just want to get behind her. But it's just so hard to get behind her when she's so like, she's so adamant about these things that she just does in plain sight. I just look at Lala and I'm like, I just want to rally behind you, but I just can't. Like, I just can't. I want you to do better and then be yourself. Like, be who you are right now, except do better so that I can really take you seriously. Does that make sense? I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on Lala. Am I crazy? I know I'm crazy. That's why I'm doing this channel.
I'd put this bitch right back in her grave.
I'm going to bed.
All right.
Oh no, my stuff is... No.
Okay, so, you know, Lala's confessional ends with her saying, you know, I'd put her in the grave or whatever. The strong things she's saying. She always says something with such conviction. She says it and then you hear this like bong.
I'd put this bitch right back in her grave.
I'm going to bed.
And then we cut back and the girls are in the bed. They're talking, you know, Katie's saying like, oh my gosh, my stuff's in there. You hear a knife sharpening sound.
No.
Anytime you hear that knife sharpening sound, it's supposed to almost make the audience go like this. That's really the reaction they're looking for. Like a, or something like that, right? Even though it's such a minor thing, like her having her toothbrush and Raquel's, what is Raquel gonna do to her when she goes in to get the toothbrush? Like, who cares? Raquel's fine. She's probably passed out in her room. But, you know, they do that knife sharpening sound like, ooh, now, you know, the plot thickens. That's what that sound should really be equal to. The plot thickens, right?
No.
You can't
go
go
further.
tomorrow. You don't need it.
My toothbrush.
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah.
Oh, Katie.
You're my hero.
Okay, so then Christina's like, I'm gonna do it. And then they kind of put in this silly music, like, oh, like, I almost feel like that music, it's silly and it almost has like shenanigans type of feel to it. Not Sheena's podcast shenanigans, but shenanigans in general is just kind of like, here comes another like silly plot point in the show that we're gonna have to get through to get Katie her toothbrush, right? Let's see what happens.
You know, you give these hoes an inch, they take a mile.
Where are these lights coming from?
Okay, so they have Lala saying that line, you give them an inch to take a mile, and you cut to, you're cross-cutting basically between Christina's journey over to Raquel's room and Lala and Katie laying in bed and, you know, talking about this. I just love that, like, Lala, oh my gosh, James says it later in the episode. He says, like, you know, if you cross Lala as the queen bee, you're gonna see yourself in some trouble. And I was like, James is another one I love for the show. Just some of his stuff. I mean, he's so awful in so many ways, so many things he does. I mean, everyone on Vanderpump, you're just like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? But he does stuff and says stuff that's so awful. But then sometimes he says stuff and I'm like, you are our voice of reason. Like, why are you are so right on. Okay, I feel like I'm losing it today. I haven't talked to you guys in so long. Maybe I'm just so excited. I have been slammed with work and my business is just picking back up again. The baby is 5 months old. Can you guys believe how fast it's gone? My baby is 5 months old, but work is picking back up. So I have less time to edit and less time to do this. I'm hoping to, you know, kind of get my balance back so I can give you guys 2 videos a week, but I've really missed our time together. So maybe I'm just talking too much today. I'm so sorry. The other thing I want to say is when we hit 5,000 subscribers, I want to do a live. I've done a live already. It was really fun, but it was a little bit stressful for me, to be totally honest. I don't know if I'm like a live person in general. I had to really, after that live, I had to like take a minute and just be like, wow, that was a lot. Like I was really put on the spot. I felt like, and my tech and everything was like, it was a lot for me. Maybe I'm like an introvert. Just let me talk to a camera and edit it and like not talk to anyone. But no, we're gonna do a live. I promise. I'm gonna get back up on that horse. We're gonna do a live when I hit 5,000 subscribers and we'll just like, I don't know what we'll do. Maybe we'll cover a scene and then we'll just chat. I don't know. We'll do something fun. But the last live was so much fun talking to you guys. I was just like, it just stressed me out because I'm psycho.
Tina, I'm fine. You're more than welcome to sleep with me.
I only know one other person who has this galaxy light, and it's a 3-year-old little girl.
You sleep with these lights?
Okay, yeah. So basically all they're trying to do is just haze Raquel, right? Just make her look silly. You know, she's been drinking. She said that thing to Lala. They're basically, the editing team and everything is just really trying to put her over on one side. And as you guys know, it's not a bad edit. She's doing exactly what she's doing. They're showing it on camera. They're not making her say stuff or whatever, right? But really what it is, and you guys know this if you've been watching this channel for a long time, it's contrast. They're making Raquel look bad, making her look bad by showing all of the moments and showing the women talking about her and showing kind of like just using the music to make awkwardness happen, using all that. Because in the next scene, if you guys will recall, she's in the car and she has the mental breakdown and you're supposed to swing to the other side. That's how they keep things interesting in reality TV. That's how they keep things interesting in any TV or any sort of movie or anything like that. They want to keep you guessing. They want to keep you swinging from one side to the other. They want to keep contrast. They want to keep building on the storyline so you're not sure like, oh my gosh, what do I think? Like, what do I think about them? I kind of like them. Like, you can't really land in a place with Raquel, which is what makes her, to me, so dynamic. That's what makes a lot of the characters on Vanderpump Rules, for me, so dynamic, is just the fact that you can't really land on them. Do we like them? Do you hate them? Do you like them? Do you hate them? And at the end of the day, it's just like, I don't know. I like to hate them, maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't want to hang out with any of these people, but I'm truly so happy to have them back on my screen. That's all I'm going to cover just with that scene today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, sharing, all that stuff. Let's get to 5,000 subscribers so we can have a little hangout. I will promise not to be too stressed. I am about to shoot a New Jersey Housewives video as well, and I will get that out to you as soon as I can. And I promise I'll figure out this balance so I can start bringing you guys more videos. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.
It seems that she's only interested in men that her friends are either married to or interested in, and that is a big red flag for me.